Panther people, what up? Bryce Young at the Super Bowl. Bit of a media darling. Also a general manager in the making. What's going on, you want your Panthers post? Thanks for joining. Well, Bryce Young, he's at the Super Bowl. He is in New Orleans playing in the Super... sorry, not playing. Damn it. Freudian slip. He will be playing in the Super Bowl one day, but today he is a spectator. We've learned that the man knows how to take mental reps. He knows how to watch something and kind of figure it out, process it, like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. That's doable. We saw that literally this past year. So hopefully he takes it all in New Orleans. Actually, maybe he sticks around and watches the game, learns some things from two great quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, and comes back next year and be like, oh, I could totally do that. And oh, yeah, that defense, both of them, I had them both in the palm of my hand, and I'm going to do it again next year. I cannot wait. I can't wait. I can't wait for him to actually be playing at a Super Bowl one day. Yes, call me delusional, but hey, the hopium, it's been smoked early because it is the offseason, and this is probably the best position the Panthers have been in heading into an offseason in quite some time because we have a quarterback, and that's number 9, doing the rounds in Media Row today on the Thursday. So I'm going to watch what he had to say, parts of what he had to say, because he had some pretty long interviews, and then react to it right here. Maybe kind of look through the forest. Read between the lines. There you go. Read between the lines and see what Bryce could be thinking and what this could mean for the offseason. I think it's going to be a good one. So Bryce, first he's speaking with Bleacher Report, kind of showing his X's and O's acumen, that processing, that high-level processing that he was touted to have coming out of the University of Alabama. Here's what he had to say.
So what's so tough about the Eagles' defense?
Schematically, they could not be more different. Like, they're the Eagles are super simple in scheme, but they play it really, really well. You know what
they're not really blitzing a ton. They got their big four up front.
They can get pressure with that front four, which is huge. It's not a ton. Third down, probably the least exotic team on third down, the least pressure team, least exotic. They're gonna play, and it makes them really good because when they do that, obviously they know what they're doing. They're always in the right spot, and they have just a bunch of really good players. And the Chiefs were like the exact opposite, like probably one of the highest pressure. You guys probably know better than I do.
Spagnuolo, man. Sure.
Exactly.
We're bringing everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Zero.
All the pressures. Yeah. And one of the things I was super impressed with while playing them and watching them on film was they match kind of all those pressures, which is super, super hard as far as the communication.
What do you mean by that?
They'll play like they don't spot drop, which is just drop to zones or areas in the field. They'll have rules where they're gonna play man coverage within the zone, I guess is a way to simplify it. Like
leave those guys on an island.
Yeah, so then the guy, then when they have people dropping out or they have someone bluffing, they'll have to look up 2 or look up 3, whatever it is, and they'll chase them across the field, and they're not just dropping to zones. There's not guys just unaccounted for. And to be able to communicate all that with all the different fronts and looks they do, like I remember watching on film, like the first game I watched, I'm like, oh, they have to mess this up. Like they have to have a bunch of like MEs, like they have to.
Yeah.
And I'm watching film, I'm like, these guys don't like. It's really hard to be able to do that.
Adam Lefkoe, Mike Golick Jr., their show, I don't think it's like an X's and O's show. Like this is not quarterback school. This is not, an analytics-based show. Maybe it is. I am unaware of it. But I think they just asked the simple question to Bryce, how are these defenses different with the Chiefs and Eagles, both very good defenses? I think they were maybe expecting Bryce to just go off and just say, yeah, you know what? Philly's super hard-hitting defense, crazy blitzes. Kansas City, man, Chris Jones is a damn thing. They're awesome out there. Reed out there is safety. They're good to go. Trent Duffy, those guys, they're the champions for a reason. Like typical quarterback answer. But Bryce went crazy NFL geek, lunatic, psychopath, and went deep into the analytics, deep into the coverages, deep into the minutia, deep into the traits that both defenses have. I don't think he blinked. I think he's taken some pointers from Dan Morgan. I don't think he blinked once when he was talking about that. He was just, it's like he was still in the film room heading into the week, heading into the games against Kansas City and the Eagles, which, by the way, he played well against both those defenses, and you can understand why. He understood what the hell was going on. This is a Luke Kuechly brain. This is the first time I've ever seen it happen, because normally he gives those canned answers. I don't know if he was told to turn it on during Media Row, but that's some Luke Kuechly details that he's talking about right now, and that's insane. Number one, you can totally see why in his rookie year it was just too much for him, because he is such a processor. He breaks things down to the very to the bone. So that, on top of having multiple coaches telling you how to deal with what you were observing there on the defense, had to have been so overwhelming in his rookie year. And then going back to the second year, and he's got a brand new coach, mind you, less voices, but he's still processing the same thing and learning the new offense. He didn't really play in the preseason. This totally makes sense. It totally makes sense. And the fact that he's going to see that, you're going to see this in other clips, but the fact that he got to sit down and read this stuff and figure it out on his own and not having to go out there, and he could just watch from the sidelines, like, yeah, all those things on film are translating right now on the field. Right now, I'm just not playing. And then it maybe slowed it down for him a little bit, because that was crazy. And number two, can this guy draft for us? Like, there's going to be another clip when we talk about that, but I want him in the draft room. I think he knows what this defense needs, what this offense needs to defeat some of the best defenses in the league. I hope he has the ear. I hope he has the ear of Dan Morgan and company. He goes, wow, that was crazy to watch. It's like he just blacked out. It's like he was Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover. They thought he was just kind of a goofball, and then they asked him a couple questions, and he just rattled off stats or something like that. That was absolutely crazy. We might have breaking news here while I'm watching this. No Hall of Fame call for Panthers. Luke Kuechly, an automatic finalist in 2026. So Steve Smith, no Hall of Fame. Luke Kuechly, no Hall of Fame. I think it's going to take some time. I think the lack of Super Bowl wins will do it. Same thing with Cam. I think Cam's going to have to wait some time as well because of that. But damn, so that's just breaking while I'm recording this right now. Steve Smith, not going to the Hall of Fame yet. Luke Kuechly, not going to the Hall of Fame yet. Had Julius Peppers last year, so wow, that's crazy. That's like Panthers Post. I love Panthers Post. If you really love Panthers Post, if you love early access to videos, if you love exclusive videos, if you like live chats, you're going to want to join the membership. You want to be a Panthers poster. It is $2.99 Canadian, which is more like $1.30 American. Yeah, our dollar, no good. And this week, you're going to want to tune in, because I have a very special guest this week, and it's going to be exclusive. It is going to be a live chat exclusively for members only for Mr. What's Up Doug himself at What's Up WASSUP DOUG 336. The man is checkmarked. The man is kind of not new to the scene, but he's kind of new to the scene. He was out and about doing his thing at the Senior Bowl. I'm going to be having him on the show. We're going to talk live, and if you are a member, you can chime in. You can ask me questions, but why would you want to talk to me? You can talk to Doug, and it's going to be a great time. And not only that, we had early access videos with myself and Vashti's chat from Carolina Blitz last week. There's going to be more exclusive videos, more live chats, more early access to chats. If you're watching this right now on Friday, you probably could have watched it on Thursday if you're part of the membership. It's going to be good. Tune in. Again, less than a cup of coffee. Our dollar sucks. Be a member. Just go to your desktop while watching this. It says subscribe. Right next to it, it says join. Also subscribe, but join. And then you're in. All right, another announcement real quick. I know. I started a podcast. Like, I know some of you will listen to my YouTube channel while driving and stuff, which is probably not a good idea. But I started a National Football League podcast. It's called Hit Y to Spin. So I'm putting my spin on all things that are happening in the NFL. Don't worry, I'm not going to be forgetting about the Panthers like other podcasts do. I'm going to be talking about the biggest stories that happen in the NFL. And of course, bonus stuff that happened with the Carolina Panthers, because you're going to have to deal with it. It's my show. I do whatever I want. So even if the Panthers lost that week, and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen did a whole bunch of crazy stuff, I'm still going to mention the Carolina Panthers. So don't worry, it's going to happen. You're going to get your Carolina Panthers fixed. But I just have so much on my mind, so many opinions about what's happening in the National Football League, what's going to happen in the National Football League. So I already got my trailer up. I got my first episode up when I give the Super Bowl preview, who I think is going to win. I also talk about some free agents out there, some guys who wanted to get traded. So tune in. Go to Apple Podcasts. That's all what I got it on right now. I got to get it on Spotify and all that other stuff. But click it, follow it, give it 5 stars. It helps me a lot. I don't know why I'm having a second kid. I decided, let's do some more content. That's just the way it is. But yeah, look it up. Hit Y, the letter Y, to spin on Apple Podcasts, and it'll be right there. It's the green square. To another clip right now of Bryce doing his thing. He's with Dan Patrick.
12 months ago.
Just to be consistent. Obviously, a lot of ups and downs this year. Was a different road, different path, different journey for me. But be consistent on the field, off the field. Be consistent in my habits and beliefs, and just trust the process.
But a lot of people bailed on you. Like you were too short in September this season, and then all of a sudden you seem to get taller in November. like what? But you didn't get taller, did you?
I did not get taller.
Okay, but people were bailing on you. And what was that feeling like that, they didn't think you could be a starting quarterback?
To be honest with you, I'm not someone who's super tapped into all the narratives, all the things going on. I try to control what I can control, focus on that. So,
but family members might say something. Your buddies might say, "Man, this guy killing you."
I was blessed to have I'm blessed to have a really good support system, good family. So, I at least didn't get it to my face. But for me, again, it was just trying to be consistent. No matter I think that's kind of life, especially in this profession. People view you here one day, it'll view you lower. The next day, it comes with the territory. So it's not really something I put a lot of stock in, how I'm perceived or looked at. I just try to focus on the football.
I don't want to call it your benching week, but I'll call it a bye week for you. Like you, okay? Let's make it positive here.
For sure.
Okay, so it was a bye week. What did you learn watching?
Yeah, I just tried to play the game from the sideline at that point. It's different, obviously.
So you wear a headset?
Yeah, wear a headset, hear the calls, still locked in all week. So it's different than being back there. But I just tried to look at, still play the game, still try to put myself through it, think what I'd be doing and think in that scenario. You get a little bit different view and perspective, but I still try to get as much out of it as I could.
I love Dan. I thought that was a great, that was a bit more of a canned answer from Bryce compared to what we just saw, talking X's and O's, talking about defense, talking about football, because that's what he is. He's a quarterback. He's talking about football, breaking down defenses. Just basically what I was saying before. I've watched this clip beforehand, just saying that he was on the sidelines watching. It seemed that things slowed down a little bit and, didn't let it get to his show on his face, the stress. But I don't think we're ever really going to get a straight answer. That was the guy to ask. Maybe not in that environment, because it was Dan's got a really big set. Maybe not as lively. It feels like you kind of, all the focus is on you. But when you're in Radio Row, the typical Radio Row, everybody's around you, kind of lost in the shuffle. But it seems like that Bryce, that's as much as we're going to get. I think I've always talked about, there needs to be an E60 on what happened when Bryce was benched and what clicked for him. I don't think we'll ever really know. I just watched Batman Forever with the Riddler and Jim Carrey. You guys should probably check that one out. He gets that mind reading machine, it goes in your head and you see what your mind is thinking right now. I wish we had that for Bryce when he got benched and figure out what the hell is going on in his brain when he went from benched to then starting again, and how he turned it around like that, in that way, in that sustainable way, minus the Dallas game. Just crazy. Talks about him being short. That's annoying. This was awesome. He was doing a Twitch stream. This is on Bland's Twitter.
They have is, if you could build a team around yourself of wide receivers to throw to in the league, who would you pick? NFL history, actually.
NFL history? Okay. Dang, that's
Top
a good
three
question.
people you'd want to throw the ball to.
All right, I'll go all time. That's a good question. Say Randy Moss. Randy Moss. I'll go Jerry Rice. Low-key, Megatron, and Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson's tough.
I'm going to break this down. I'm going to be a fan and break that down. So number one, Randy Moss. Is there anyone like Randy Moss on the Carolina Panthers right now? No. No one's mossing anybody on the Carolina Panthers right now. Not yet. We got guys jumping over dudes, but we don't got anybody mossing guys. We don't got tall, skinny, lanky guys who can just get up and get those 50-50 balls. There's a couple guys in the market right now who could do that. I'm going to say T. Higgins on the professional side, and not yet to be professional, Ted McMillan. So that's one. Jerry Rice, maybe one of the best football players of all time. Not super big, not super fast, just a hard-ass worker, Walter Payton style. These were the guys that I watched when I started playing football to learn from, and that's my mentality still. Wearing military boots, going for a run up hills on gravel, all that stuff, working, catching balls with gardening gloves, all that business. Do we have a Jerry Rice on our team? No. Well, no. There is no Jerry Rice. There's no such thing as a Jerry Rice. Is there anyone who's not that fast? Yeah, almost everybody, unfortunately. Anyone not that big? Yeah, David Moore, not that big. Adam Thielen, yeah, not that big, not that fast. but he's not Jerry. Dependable hands, great route runner. So I'm not saying any of these guys are Jerry Rice, but in terms of fitting the mold, definitely no one's built like Jerry Rice. He was still kind of like back then, guys were like lean and mean on the receiving side. Like I'm not saying no one was built like Xavier Leggett, but I'm just thinking who's out there who could maybe a Chris Godwin, like that could be a Chris Godwin, that could be a Garrett Wilson type a little bit, but Garrett Wilson's a bit of a freak too. Chris Godwin could be a Chris Godwin type. Like I'm just trying to read between the lines here. Bryce is kind of putting some codes out there. He's given some, doppelgangers NFL wise, just wide receivers, the type of wide receiver. Like I'm just trying to read the qualities that these guys have that maybe Bryce is kind of still looking for on the current Panthers roster. And then Megatron. Like Megatron's a unicorn, like 6'5", massive, fast, huge, imposing figure. Like I think like Ted McMillan and T. Higgins are big like that, but they're not jacked like that. They're not fast like that, I don't think. Like Megatron was Megatron. Like I don't think anyone's calling either of the guys Megatron, but he is a end zone threat, a physical marvel, which I don't think Tet or T. Higgins is right now. But it sounds like just reading between the lines, out of 2 out of the 3 guys that he's talking about, he needs someone who can go up and get it. That's what Bryce wants. He wants an end zone target. He wants a guy who can win those 50-50 balls, win those physical matchups. You might not get separation, but you chuck the ball and he knows you're going to get it. And there's no chance you're going to see what happened against Xavier Lee. No knock against Xavier Lee. I'm just using it as an example that happened last year where you're both jumping for the ball and the DB's like smelling your chin and can just grab the ball out of your hands. He wants someone who can high point the ball to the point where like the DB, even if they're like 6'1", cannot reach it. And so it looks like Bryce wants a big target. You can even, I'm not saying Kelvin Benjamin, but Kelvin Benjamin had that catch radius that we always not wanted, Cam Newton to get a receiver. They gave him one in Kelvin Benjamin. So it seems like that's what Bryce wants. He has great possession receivers. Adam Thielen, even though he had crazy ass catches this year, you had like hardworking guys like Adam Thielen, hardworking guys like Xavier Leggett, Jaden Coker doing crazy things out there as well. But none of these guys are physical marvels, are going to out physical you yet. I think that's part of Xavier Leggett's draft profile. I think he will eventually be that, especially when he gets his wrist all healed up. But it looks like Bryce wants a guy who can just be physically imposing and just get up and snap the ball out of the air.
Did you check in with each other?
Yeah, no, he's always asking me stuff. He wants me to send him things and give him my opinion, which I'm super grateful for. Him having that open mind, having an open line of communication, wanting to include me in things, that means a lot. That goes a long way for me. He's done a great job, so I'm super grateful.
So that's Kay. So that's Kay Adams asking Bryce about his line of communication with Dan Morgan, the general manager, who is the one responsible for building the team around Bryce, both on the offensive and defensive side. Talking about he has his ear, as in Bryce has Dan's ear. And after watching that clip with Lefko and Buddy, I want to hear from Bryce because I think he knows how to pick talent. I think he knows how to pick defenses and what the offense needs to counter whatever the defense gives, and vice versa. Kay also asked him on a previous question, the one that led to this follow-up, what kind of receivers that he's looking for. Is there going to be, and Bryce did mention there's some room for some recruiting happening in New Orleans. So Bryce is there. The Carolina Reaper is in New Orleans with the hood, walking the streets of Bourbon Street, the French Quarters, trying to find some, little bit buzzed wide receivers out there, whether it's, Chris Godwin, whether it's T. Higgins, whether maybe they got some draft guys, Tet McMillan, Luther Burden III. Maybe he's just trying, Jaden Royals, Higgins out of Iowa State. Maybe he's trying to just do some recruitment right now, some recognizance to, then let Dan Morgan know, hey, this guy's about the Panthers. This guy's not about the Panthers. This guy can do it. This guy can't do it. Bryce Young out there scouting, got his hoodie on and everything. The Carolina Reaper rocking his hoodie, doing work in New Orleans, off the field. Hopefully soon he'll be on the field in the Super Bowl.